personnel, plus up to 40 mission-specific crew. Furthermore, it is hoped that cheap and cheerful Type 31E will find success in the export market. Basically, the Type 31E would be a lower-capability ship intended to take on missions in relatively low-risk environments. This is not unreasonable as it seems, as navies are frequently called upon to chase pirates and smugglers, perform presence missions, deliver emergency supplies, provide peacetime escort and so forth. Fielding low-cost corvettes and frigates to do those jobs can save the combat ships bristling with firepower for the places they're really needed. But if the Type 31 ends up lacking basic capabilities to be a credible combat ship in a wartime situation, then it may not offer great value. Indeed, defense experts seem universally skeptical that a useful frigate can be built for $330 million. Indeed, the ship is to be built commercial shipbuilding standards, reinforced in places rather than full military standards, to save on costs, but at a risk to lower survivability in event of a collision or missile strike. The Type 31E's obvious comparison is to the US Navy's littoral combat ship, an attempt to build a cheap corvette-sized vessel to handle low-intensity missions that didn't require a frigate or destroyer. The LCS was supposed to cost only $250 million apiece and would come with interchangeable modules to perform different missions, such as anti-submarine warfare, minesweeping and surface combat against swarming motorboat attacks. However, the little ships bulked out in both price and size, the modular component concept had to be abandoned, and the speedy little ships still lack long-range missiles to fight ships of equivalent displacement. Of course, the Type 31E and LCS are by no means identical concepts. The Pentagon sought to introduce several new technologies on the LCS, including greater crew automation, high-speed propulsion and stealth hulls. By comparison, the Type 31E is intended to use affordable off-the-shelf technology. Furthermore, the LCS was optimized to serve in littoral operations, not as an escort or general-purpose frigate. On the other hand, the Freedom-class LCS already bulks nearly as much as a frigate at 3,900 tons, and the US Navy is now planning to upgrade later LCSs to light frigates. The Ministry of Defense originally considered producing downgraded Type 26 frigates, but this was still considered too pricey. Foreign-built frigates, which would likely have offered decent cost savings, were also excluded to keep the domestic shipbuilding industry going. This has left the Royal Navy to consider a variety of domestic offers that are mostly stretched-out corvettes. BAE Systems withdrew from the competition in October 2017, ostensibly because shipbuilding capacity was maxed out on other projects, though a company official also grumbled that they didn't want to be caught up in a race to the bottom. Prior to that, the company had led every major Royal Navy project in the last 3 decades, though breaking the trend may be seen as A+ by the mod. Nonetheless, BAE instead partnered up with shipbuilder Cammell Laird, which is now proposing a Leander-class frigate evolved from BAE's Kareef-class corvette serving in the Omani Navy. The Kareef is a relatively beefy corvette, displacing 2,900 tons and armed with long-range Exocet anti-ship missiles. Manufacturers Birkenhead and BMT also announced they had teamed together in November, though it's unclear where that leaves their formerly competing Venator 110 and Arrowhead 120 proposals, both of which displace 4,000 tons and measure 117 and 120 meters in length, respectively. The Arrowhead is a stretched-out Samuel Beckett-class patrol vessel with space for a 5-inch gun, 8 anti-ship missiles, a 16-cell vertical launch system for anti-aircraft missiles, and a flight deck that can accommodate a V-22 Osprey tilt-rotor aircraft. Real-time equipment health monitoring systems were to reduce lifetime costs. According to the BMT brochure, the Venator 110 would have a crew of 85 to 106, a range of 6,000 miles, and maximum speed of 28 knots. The design emphasizes modular command and control systems and armament packages, which at the highest end could include up to a 127mm gun, an 8-cell Mark 41 vertical launch system and batteries of Sea Scepter anti-aircraft missiles. The partnerships claim the best aspects of both vessels will now be on offer. Finally, Stellar Systems has a clean sheet proposal for a Project Spartan vessel, with modular weapon nodes capable of accepting autocannons, point defense SAMs or a Mark 41 VLS, a large flight deck and garage space in the stern, which could accommodate additional drones, and ship architecture emphasizing survivability. All of the proposals appear less capable than the Type 23 frigates they are replacing, which had a range of 7,600 miles and were armed with